In season 2 of the Derm Biz Show, we're happy to announce a new segment that gets a little more personal. In this new segment, my wife, Dr. Mercy, and I sit down and share what it's really like to navigate and run a dermatology practice. But not just as business partners, as husband and wife. In our topic today, we discuss a major decision our practice recently made, which is opting to add back insurance networks that we had originally removed ourselves from. We'll walk you through how we came to that decision, the challenges we faced, the lessons we learned, and ultimately the heart that guided this decision. This is Partners in Practice. Let's get started. One thing that's interesting is I just finished the edits for Osei Tutu interview, and the whole time we were talking about insurance networks and all these different things, and now here we are today. We were talking with Osei Tutu about removing insurance networks,
Yep.
and here we are today. We have just launched our campaign. Today is April 29th, 2025. We just launched our campaign advertising to all of our patients that we are now jumping back into the waters of taking all insurances, including Medicaid.
Now, I don't, yes, you're correct. Now, I don't know if this is going to be a bad decision, but the good thing is we're the owners of the company. We can make changes. We don't have to go to higher ups. But one of the first things that kind of sparked this was a lot of my well loved patients. So we've been in Marquette, Michigan for almost 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just very difficult to keep losing those patients who I've been taking care of for the last, almost 10 years now. And it's hard, especially if you're in a surgical specialty like I am and you're trying to build a big practice and you're in a rural area. I think if you're in certain parts of the country, it could work a little better, but it was getting harder for our patients. We were losing patients that we've been taking care of for a long time. And one thing that I also realized, there's a lot of advantage plans. So as some of our patients are
Mm-hmm.
transitioning into that Medicare age, one of the biggest insurance networks where we live is the Medicare Advantage or any Advantage plans. So in order to still continue to provide top level of care, where we say patients are like our families, a lot of patients have been riding with us for a long time. It wasn't a hard decision, but it was something that I realized we had to do in order to keep serving our patient and also in order to keep going as a practice that takes insurance overall. Um, it's and also too, if I'm very bad with saying, if you can't play the game, pl- call the player.
What? What are you trying to say? If you can't beat them, join them. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, as long as
Uh,
we're always going to be in a rural environment, which we are. We have a big following. This community is like family. And I'm not sure what these networks are doing, but a lot of my patients are finding themselves with these networks that I stopped accepting. So we'll see. We'll see. I don't know how it's going to turn out yet. I have my hesitations. What are some of your feelings about it?
so I think one of the biggest things is that we have made the decision that we love Marquette. We're gonna be in Marquette. We're gonna be there a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. And as you said, Medicare Advantage plans are growing year after year. They're growing faster than regular Medicare plans. And relative to the rest of the state, the Upper Peninsula of Michigan has a higher percentage of population on Medicaid and locally called UPHP. So I feel comfortable with this decision.
By the way, you probably know more. Can you explain what Medicare, like Advantage plans are?
Yeah, Medicare Advantage plan is a person who is eligible for Medicare. and don't quote me on all of this. I don't have all of the numbers in front of me right now. But a person who is eligible for Medicare can opt to get a Medicare Advantage plan. Now, why would a person get a Medicare Advantage plan? Well, if they get a Medicare Advantage plan, it's cheaper than a Medicare plan. Oftentimes,
So their premiums are lower.
their premiums are drastically lower. Oftentimes, some Medicare Advantage plans have no premium. So if you're not using the plan, you're not paying any upfront money. And so it's marketed. If you're a person who doesn't have a lot of health issues, you don't go to the doctor a lot,
Mhm.
the Medicare Advantage plan may be great for you because those months that you would have been paying a premium to not go to the doctor, you would be paying no premium or a drastically reduced premium. However, when you do go to the doctor, you're going to get a bigger bill because if you have a Medicare plan with a Medicare supplement, you're basically going to get zero bills in the mail. The
Yeah,
Medicare plan is going to pay a certain amount, and whatever they don't pay, your
yeah.
supplement is going to pay.
A supplement. So like having Medicare and then like a Blue Cross supplemental.
Exactly, or AARP, or it's so many of them. That supplement.
So it's more or less like get it now, but you pay later. So for Medicare Advantage
Yeah,
plans.
exactly, exactly.
But let's we could also talk about one of the reasons why we don't, I wouldn't say we don't like it, because I think one of the biggest, it's not that we don't like it, they just make it hard. They make you work for everything. So if we submit a claim after seeing a patient, most of the time it's automatic denial. And then it takes about 3 to 6 months for some Medicare Advantage plans to even try to pay out the claim. So it's always no, no, no. We hope you give up. And then if you don't give up, it's going to take us 3 to 6 months. And even with medications. So, the question now becomes, who is this plan actually benefiting? Is it the patients, maybe in the short run? But it is what it is,
Yeah,
right?
it's the old adage. I remember when I was doing some research on the Medicare Advantage plans, one of the hospital administrators said that their strategy is deny, deny, deny. And so they're denying valid claims, they're denying invalid claims, they're denying
Yeah.
everything, and then they're making you rebuild it and kind of like you said, work for it. But I think that one advantage for us is, and this may be true for a lot of other people out there who are weighing the pros and cons of should they take this insurance, what insurances they should take. Over the years, we've gained more experience, and so I think that we're a little bit more savvy in regards to um, how to bill, in regards to communicating with our billing company to make sure that they're going after those denials. Before we would just kind of bill everything out and just kind of trust that the billing company was doing everything on their end. Since then,
Yeah, it's like see what we can get.
yeah, since then we've implemented processes where we're meeting with the billing company every single month. We're going through all the denied and rejected claims. We have one of our staff members, one of our virtual team members who are going back through and helping out with the denied claims. So I think that we've learned some stuff over the last few years, and the couple of years that we haven't been taking all these insurances, that I believe will help us now that we're about to hop back into the water of taking these insurances again.
Yeah, because the cuts every year, there are cuts and cuts. So we're still providing the same level of service. We love our patients, but dealing with insurance comes with, you have to fight to get your claims paid. You have to fight for medications for your patients. Um, so I don't know. I feel like it's more like we're just gonna keep going and see see where this takes us. I think we are talking about something yesterday, and I think one of the things that we love the most, and one of the reasons why we created Lily Dermatology, is to treat patients like family and is to give exceptional care. And we want to keep doing that, and we hope we can continue to do that despite the changes that a lot of insurances are making. And the crazy thing is, no one really feels bad for medical
Nope.
offices with the
Nope.
insurances. No one really feels bad for doctors because they think all doctors just have this pot of gold somewhere that, like we're, holding on to all of this. We're overbilling. And I think most patients don't realize most of what you bill for is not going to get paid. We're not going to get that. And as a small practice, we don't have a lot of power with the insurance. So a lot of time you can negotiate your rates if you're a big group, but we're small. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, Lily Dermatology is very small. They're not trying to negotiate with us. They're not trying to
Wait
listen
a
to
minute, you
us.
can
What
just
you
call
get
them
is
up and
what
be like,
you
"This
get.
is Dr. Mercy, and we need."
There's a Doctor Who now.
You don't think they go you don't think that's gonna work out if you just call them up and say, "Hey, Blue Cross, I know you're a multi-billion-dollar company, but we're in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and we need higher reimbursement rates."
I mean, I think if we call them every single day and willing to stay on hold for an hour or
Right.
two, at some point someone will listen and say no. But I think it's something that we've never actually tried though, because when we first started, we did try. We were told we were too small. We had just started. I think it's something that we need to go back to them and
Well,
see.
I've talked to our billing company about this, and they said that it
It's
it's
not
not a
worth it.
thing. Like you're not calling up to the Blue Cross, and you're going to necessarily get them to, "Hey, Blue Cross, give us a higher rate, or else what? What are we going to do? Are we going to stop taking Blue Cross?" That's not even we don't have the leverage. So I mean, that's always a topic of conversation. And that's a wrap for this episode of the Dermbiz Show. We hope you found today's discussion insightful and packed with value to help you navigate the challenges of running your private practice. We'd love to hear from you. Is there a specific topic you'd like us to cover or a question you want answered? Reach out to us at thedermbiz@gmail.com or drop us a message on social media. Your input helps us tailor the show to what matters most to you and your practice. Speaking of social media, don't forget to follow us on all of our platforms for updates, bonus content, and tips to keep your practice running smoothly. And of course, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. Thanks for tuning in today, and we can't wait to have you join us again the next time. Until then, take care, keep thriving, and we'll see you the next time on The Dermbiz Show.